Grazier or Grazier? You're gonna have to unmute.
That's Grazier, Your Honor.
Grazier. See, I got it all wrong. Okay. Grazier. All right. So folks, what I believe we're here on is the motion for a preliminary injunction. Are both parties ready to proceed on that issue?
I'm ready to proceed, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me just get my computer caught up with me. I do have the original motion and declaration affidavit. Mr. Grazer, did you file, any response?
I have not had a chance to, Your Honor. I was served just a few days before the first when I was supposed to be in court last week. I was here. It apparently had not been filed yet. I had blank numbers on my copies. I believe this is to be another form of harassment. It's been going on for about 15 years now.
Well, let me ask you, are you planning to file any evidence objecting to the temporary injunction?
Yes, if I can argue it just with what's on the evidence he's provided, then yes, I would.
So the two separate things you said there. So I'm just going to ask you two very specific questions. Are you planning to file any additional information that I do not have today in support of your request?
Yes, I've not had a chance to file any information with the court.
So you are filing additional evidence about the temporary injunction request?
But I don't believe the temporary injunction is correct in this case.
Okay, hold on. So let me.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we're still kind of talking past each other. So here's what I want to know. Are you wanting to argue against the temporary injunction today? That's option one. Or are you telling me that you have a response that you are going to file with additional evidence?
I have not been able to file any evidence at this time. I was taking measurements today. His claim, it doesn't seem to be valid because the easement he's claiming has never been used before as evidenced by.
So I'm still not getting a real straight answer. So all I can find is you've said you're ready to move forward. So I'll hear this on testimony. So hold tight. The way this goes is the moving party goes first, and then I'll come to you for any argument you want to give me. So Ms. Tideman, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here asking the court for a preliminary injunction, and we brought this action based off of a complaint that was filed for injunctive relief and damages. The parties in this matter, and specifically defendant, is an owner of a parcel that is on Walker Road. Walker Road has a 60-foot easement in which the other parcels have access to, and that's well documented in documents that we provided that have also been filed with the auditor's office. There's a plat survey that shows very clearly that there is a 60-foot easement and that easement needs to be kept open for ingress and egress as well as utilities. Around 2022, the defendant started stacking things on the side of the road. And that has gotten worse and worse over time until my client was forced to bring this motion to be able to effectuate essentially use of Walker Road. We did provide some pictures, and what I can tell the court is there is so much stuff stacked on the side of the road that it is touching / over the line on the side of the road, and it is creating a significant hazard for individuals, including my client, who are required to use Walker Road. Because of the way that they are stacked and the amount of things that are stacked, it almost makes it impossible for two cars to pass on that road. And I can tell the court that I did drive the road and I've seen the road, and it is terrifying when another car comes the other way because of the amount of items that are stacked on the road. In addition, not only are they stacked on the county road, the Walker Road, but they are also at times, and my client provided, where those items are stacked and falling into the roadway, creating a dangerous and significant hazard for individuals, including my client, who drive on that road. They've had to stop, they have had to move boards out of the way, but the amount of items is growing at a rapid pace. And not only that, but the amount of how close they are. We're not talking, we have a 60-foot easement, the entire road is clear, and off to the side, there are some items stacked. We're talking vehicles, boards, pallets stacked high and all the way down the property. My client does heavy hauling for a living, and he is unable to drive those heavy hauling vehicles on Walker Road at this point because of the amount of items. It would be impossible if you were to meet another car to be able to pass. So the reason for the injunction is there's a very clear legal right. There's a 60-foot easement. Whether that easement has been used historically as 60 feet or not is not part of the legal analysis. The reality is that the reason that these are made in these 60-foot easements is a lot of times they don't know exactly when they plot things where exactly the road's going to go. But people are entitled to have the use of that easement. And if Your Honor would like, I can certainly cite case law. We didn't get a response. But there is a significant issue that could not be remedied by monetary damages in this case. And the reason that is because we are looking at a potential for a significant injury. We're looking at a road that curves and has corners where you come around and there's boards in the middle of the road. We are looking at things that could cause significant bodily injury to parties, and have also made it so that my client is unable to use the road as he should have access to. There is no legal reason that the defendant would need to have these items stacked in this location. There is a lot of property, and the idea that anybody can stack essentially a wall of pallets, broken down cars, boards, infringing on people's use of this roadway, because at this point, it really is infringing on use of the actual roadway itself. It's not even an issue of this is annoying and potentially one day it could become a problem. This is a really significant issue. There have been a couple of times that the police have been called, and obviously this is a civil issue that has to be dealt with here. But I am concerned long-term that the fact that there is a high level for conflict to arise over this issue. There have been times that police have been called out because the boards are in the road and there has been conflict between parties, my client, including other people who utilize that road. But this is not something where this is kind of annoying and we want use of the whole 60-foot easement. This is serious infringement on an easement that is well documented without any legal reason. And I apologize, I say defendant because I don't exactly know how to say his last name, Grazier, is using it essentially as what I would describe as a junkyard on the side of the road. Certainly, if people were injured, there's monetary remedies available to them. But the reality is that if someone is injured, if there's a car crash, if people can't get by each other, if there's boards in the middle of the road people hit, those can't be remedied with monetary damages. Those are significant physical injuries that could occur. There's the issue of conflict that is very high, and I'll tell you it's very high in this case because of the conflict that's already occurred. There is the chance that as this goes with how these items have continued to be placed, that it will become an increasingly dangerous situation as this moves forward. So we are asking for a preliminary injunction and a low bond amount. I think the lowest the bond that the court can require is $1,000. But there is no legal reason that these items should be stacked there. And again, what I can tell the court is from the pictures, you can see that it is literally sitting on the white line, all of these items. And again, my client's declaration provides that there are times where regularly boards and things of that nature will fall off of these kind of stacks and block the road. The road is not straight. There are curves in the road. There are times that you come around the corner. And again, I drove up there and when I met a car, it was terrifying because you have to inch by each other because of the amount of things. There is no wiggle room. So we're asking that the court order the preliminary injunction. It is appropriate based off the facts and circumstances and the fact that there is no legal reason or even rational reason why these items should be stacked in the manner they are.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Grazer, I will give you some time to speak. I'm just going to let you know from the outset, you didn't file anything. Typically, if it's not in the record, it's not something I can consider. I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway. I know that you're doing this pro se, but I am going to rein it in a bit if we get too far outside the facts that have been pled in the original complaint. and the declaration that the opposing side provided. So what would you like me to know?
Well, as I stated before, I believe this to just be continuation of harassment. I do have things stacked alongside the road. However, it's not as she says. First of all, the first 250 feet is completely cleared. I mean, as of this morning, the health department was out there this morning because somebody made complaints against me. She came to check it out, was very impressed with it. Asked me to continue what I'm doing. The vehicles are broke down because I was a victim of a hit and run accident, and the driver took off, and the police found him but didn't tell me any information about him. So I'm sitting 2 months now waiting for my vehicle to be fixed with $350 in parts. It kind of hampers my ability to move anything around. I'm a carpenter, and a few years ago it was $25 for a 2x4. So I take these nice ones home and make things out of them. I fix people's houses with them, or my own place. It's not kind of, she says, like the boards in the road. It was a windstorm up there, and a couple of pallets did fly off, or a couple pieces of plywood flew off. It also knocked down trees that had been standing for 80 to 100 years. As well as trees alongside the road. My family was the second to buy property out here. The original road was flooded through. The trees on both sides don't allow for 60-foot easement anyways. They're 8 feet off the road at most. On the neighbor's side, they're all the way touching the road. The road was kind of put in. Mr. Slanger, at the time my father's passing, as I was moving down, decided upon himself to move the road over 14 feet in the corner. It's no longer a tight turn without permission, and without, and even after being told he couldn't, he did it anyways. I understand the statute of limitations has expired on that. I chose not to proceed that because, for the good of the neighborhood, I was willing to let it go. But the easement's never been used. The trees have never been cut down. Every home out there's every parcel of land has been purchased. Most homes have been built without having to exercise that easement. Like I said, I'm cleaning it up as it goes. It's not garbage. It's just, he likes to refer to it as that. He's been harassing me for years. The only time the police were called, as far as he was when he tried to mow down me and two of my friends. And he called the police. That's the only time the police have been involved, as far as he's concerned, that I know of. I know.
Started at 2:30 or so. They had to go through a bunch of other people first. But now that I'm home, it's kind of okay.
Hold on. I've got people on a Samsung who are speaking in the middle of someone else's hearing. Please mute yourself. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
As a relation to that, they can't use the road for service, for his services. He runs a heavy hauling company. It's called Heavy Hauling. I don't know if that was clarified in the document or not, but I was passed by a low boy day before yesterday, I think it was. Didn't even leave the other lane. So, I mean, I'm on the inside corner of everything. So whenever you drive a big truck, you tend to take the outside lane. EMS fire trucks, they have no problem coming out there and they wave to me like everybody else. A lot of people think it's incredible what I'm doing. I'm building something, pretty neat. I don't really want to discuss that because I did once, and the city of Long Beach stole it and muffed it. And like that little mini golf thing I have there. So I'm trying to transition to more of an artist and not a construction role because my body's, getting old fast. Mr. Slanger just, for some reason, taking a vendetta against me. Even his own wife or girlfriend at the time says she doesn't understand why they're so mean to me all the time. And like I said, it's in the process of being cleaned up. It does have to be spread out a little bit to, sort things out, pull nails, whatever. I'm religious about pulling nails out. Nobody's got a flat tire as far as I know or anything like that. So a lot of these claims that people make are just bogus. But when it comes down to the real people that actually live there, most of them don't have a problem with it. And I can get statements to that effect.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Tideman, anything further?
The only thing I would say is that in his response, he's admitted that these items are stacked, that boards fell in the road, but doesn't see a problem with it. That is the problem. My client has tried and hoped that this issue would resolve itself. There are many people who are having this issue, but do we have a clear legal right? Absolutely. Is he using and infringing on the easement? Absolutely. The idea that he's going to clean it up at some point isn't relevant or rational. The reality is that these items are creating a significant hazard on the road. It is interfering with my client's ability to use his company equipment and drive on the road that is designated that he is able to drive on because of these actions. And every day that happens, it interferes with my client's essentially ability to make a living and do what he needs to do because this road is so impacted. I didn't hear anything that would excuse or give any legal right of why he has these items in this easement area. And again, I just want to reiterate that these items are not sitting on property, 30 feet back from a road. These are on the white line, if not over the white line. There is a wall of pallets and boards and broken down cars. These things need to be moved defendant has property. He could put him on the property. He could do many other things with them. There is no reason that these things are stacked on the road. There's no legal right to it. And my client does have a legal right, as does every other person who needs to use that road. And they should have the right to be able to use the road without being fearful they're going to get into a head-on car accident because they're going to come around the road and there's items. Even in defendant's statement, he says, well, if he's hauling you, just use the outside lane. What he's said is that people have to use the outside lane. There is essentially one lane of travel because of these items sitting on the road. So we believe a preliminary injunction. We strongly believe a preliminary injunction is appropriate in this matter. I'm going to request that the court grant one.
So I think I'm certainly going to grant a preliminary injunction as it relates to an order to remove the wood, pallets, and garbage that is encroaching the easement. I'm trying to find the portion. I think that the language requested is a little bit broader, that you're wanting the injunction to remove it from the side of the road, that even falling outside the easement. Is that right? Oh, you're muted.
You think I learned by now?
Okay.
You know, the easement is 60 foot wide. So we were asking that it be removed from the easement location and keep that easement clear. If the court wants to have it be moved, I guess, within the 60 feet, but I have real concerns. The reason the language was requested is we have real concerns about essentially being right back here if it's not a complete removal and that the entire easement is kept free, just kind of based off how we got here.
Yeah, and I was trying to find, I understand the concern. I was trying to find in Exhibit C on the complaint, the portion that precludes it from being on the side of the road. Well, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just looking at the language. I think there is a temporary injunction that'll be granted. I think there is a clear, equitable, and legal right. There's a specific easement stated. I think that there are damages beyond just monetary at this time. So we'll grant a preliminary injunction that the piles of wood pallets and garbage that encroach into the easement and interfere with plaintiff's ingress and egress shall be removed and remain clear. And I think that maybe encompasses without saying that he has to remove it from the side of the road. That's essentially my ruling, Mr. Grazer, but the language I'm using is that you have to remove anything that's encroaching, that's actually in the easement or encroaching on the easement or interfering with anyone's ability to go to their home and from their home.
Well, Your Honor, I would respectfully say that I've not interfered with anyone's ability to access their home. Mr. Slanger has a company down in town where he parks his trucks. Like I said, the only one that comes up there is a lowboy that he's had a conversation with me before, probably not going exactly the way he says. He has no problem.
Yeah, Mr. Grazer, that's my ruling. I'm just going to point out, I have a comment that came in on Zoom from a Brad Dutz. I don't believe Mr. Dutz is a party to this specific action, unless I am wrong.
He's not. He is a homeowner that also has access to this easement.
Yeah. So Mr. Dutz, frankly, and I'll just tell anyone else who's watching, typically this courtroom is open for participants. We do live stream on YouTube. You should be watching it there. It is inappropriate for you to leave a message for the court as a non-party. I am disregarding anything in that message. Ms. Tideman, if you can prepare an order with that specific language, I will get that signed.
I will do that, Your Honor. And the only other request is, obviously this has been something that's been escalating. So we would like it to be removed immediately, but is the court going to set a time frame? There is a lot of stuff, but we would like it to be done expeditiously. And so we would like a time frame in which the items have to be removed. Obviously, we would like it to be immediately, but don't want to give much wiggle room. And then I just kind of want to reiterate my concern that based off his response that I think we're going to have a fight over whether it's infringing on egress or ingress.
Okay.
Mr. Grazer, when can you get those things moved?
Well, as I stated earlier, my truck was involved in a hit and run accident. So I'm unable to move anything at this time, more than by hand. I've got several carts and hand jacks. I'm doing the best I can. But there's a vehicle that blocks my driveway, and due to this changing laws, the state of
When can you get these things moved?
I'm trying to get a hold. I got to go to the state patrol next and try to
So
get.
when, I'm just going to repeat my question. I want a number. I don't want an excuse. I want a number. When can you get these things moved?
I've just spent 3 weeks clearing the first 250 feet. So it took me 3 years, according to the witness or the plaintiff's statement, to get the stuff there. So I don't see that. I mean, I'm not going to take 3 years to remove it, but I can't do it in 3 weeks. The original request was 30 days, and that's just not possible.
Well, it'll be 30 days.
But that
This
might-
time It'll be 30 days in the order. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you, Honor. We'll submit
Yeah.
an order.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Grazer. We'll go ahead and end the hearing. Okay, that does take me back to number 2 and 3, West Rock Longview LLC v. Cowlitz County. This is 24-258.